So what is the natural state of well-being in Ayurveda? We always talk about what is the state of being free from disease and having a strong immunity and having the good health and longevity means about. This depends upon four factors in Ayurveda. The quality of food is the first, the quality of the digestion is second, the quality of the sleep is third, and the quality of lifestyle is the fourth. So when we talk about the quality of food, what are we basically talking about is your food organic? Is your food comes with the conventional farming? That's one of the considerations that we take. Apart from that, how do we prepare the food? For example, the potatoes can be made into French fries, or the potatoes can be converted into the soup also. But whatever our decision is, it has a bearing on our health. So the quality of food is very, very important. Also, we have to understand that our body, as we divide into Vata, Pitta and Kapha, cannot take all the food. So Vata has a very different food requirement. The Pitta who has a strong digestion, has a very different food requirement, and the Kapha has a very different food requirement. Vata, with the state of metabolism, is very high. So that means they need the small meals, perhaps 5 to 6 times a day. Unlike the traditional concept of having the breakfast, lunch and dinner, it doesn't work out for Vata because of the rate of metabolism. Perhaps they will be feeling very hungry and also at the same time very agitated and restless if we just give 3 meals to Vata. Similarly for Pitta, who are blessed with the strongest digestion, perhaps they can digest almost all kind of food, but we have to understand Pitta means fire. That means any food which adds to the fire is definitely not good, which means all the chilies, the deep fried food, where the potency of the food is hot, is considered to be aggravating Pitta. For the Kapha, which is basically to do with the lubrication, they are composed of the elements called earth and water. These are heavy elements, which means we cannot give a heavy food to Kapha. A red meat will aggravate Kapha in no time. Similarly, the food which is very rich, made with cream, so much of fattening elements of the food, is definitely going to aggravate Kapha, and we see this vitiation of Kapha will manifest in the terms of the disease and the ailments that the Kapha will be suffering from. So coming back to understanding food, first you have to do is to try to understand your body and eat accordingly. I would suggest that start developing a food journal which is going to help you understand the particular food which helped you and the particular food which caused the impairment. Coming back to the quality of digestion, the digestive fire, or the Pachakagni as we say, is one of the most important elements of Ayurveda. This is generally not treated as one of the key foundation of Western nutrition, because Western nutrition basically focuses mostly on the balance of the wholesome meal and protein, carbohydrate, fats, vitamins and minerals. But in Ayurveda, digestion is given the very important place. If the digestive fire is not strong, believe me, whatever you're going to eat is going to produce toxins. We call ama in Ayurveda. And these toxins will never allow you to enjoy the fruit of being healthy and having a wholesome life. So digestion is important, is key to what we describe as ojas, which is the nectar of life. The ojas is the result of the optimal digestion. Understanding optimal digestion is going to be the key, but that may not be in the scope of this session at this point in time. Understanding sleep now, which is the third element which I mentioned about. If the sleep is not good, I am talking about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, then it is going to cause problem with you. Whether the problem relates to your stress, whether the problem relates to your restlessness, something that happened at the workplace that we are not able to take out of your mind, it's going to impair sleep. And the sleep impairment is going to result in the impairment of the digestion and also at the same time manifest in many forms. And one of the things that you see is that sleep deprivation does is the chances of the inflammation rise higher. then also the chances of the impaired digestion is there, because the lack of sleep will not allow all the digestive enzymes which needed rest to act optimally. Then comes the lifestyle, and that's the fourth important pillar of understanding how you can achieve good health. If the lifestyle is not good, I'm talking about you are eating good, your digestion is there, and you're sleeping well, but if you're too sluggish, that means again your digestion is going to hamper, which means that your food quality will have little or no bearing on the OJs that we talked about, which means that one has to be active, one has to do some form of yoga, exercise, mobility, movement, walking, jogging. There are many ways that we can achieve that. It also means the lifestyle, we are able to slow down at times as we are rushing in our life all the time. It's contemplate, meditate, engage in the good activities, engage in the charities or helping other people. That's also a part of the lifestyle. I'm not talking about lifestyle on the gross level only, but I'm also talking about lifestyle on the subtle level. The intention that we bear for other, it's a part of the lifestyle also. The thoughts that occur for us, especially when it comes to taking a decision which benefits everyone and not only us, that's a part of lifestyle also. We are talking about the thought process. Thought process is a part of lifestyle at the subtle level. So these four elements that we talked about, namely the quality of food, the quality of digestion, the quality of sleep, and the quality of lifestyle, has a direct bearing on who we are and how we are going to be in the short term and the long term.